Listen closely, because this hits deeper than most want to admit. Family offices aren't just quietly managing wealth anymore. They're shifting into something much bigger, becoming fierce, sharp, hyper strategic investors, not because they suddenly woke up one day craving more money, but because the game itself has changed and the old rules no longer hold. Imagine carrying the weight of generations on your shoulders, the hopes, the legacies, the dreams, yet feeling trapped in cycles that don't break through. That struggle, that silent frustration, lives in every corner of family wealth. Family offices used to be about protecting assets, playing it safe, trusting tradition. But safety now feels like slow death. Risk isn't just an option, it's the pathway to survival. And survival? It's not enough anymore. What they want is to explode beyond survival, into relevance, power, real impact. Every second, the market moves faster. Every technological wave crashes harder. And suddenly, legacies that took decades to build stand on edge of collapse if they don't evolve. Can you feel the pressure? If you're here, you know the grind, the sleepless nights, the endless calculations, the gut-wrenching doubt isn't just about numbers. It's a fight for meaning, control, freedom from the invisible cages of the past. Traditional investing doesn't cut it. It's too slow, too blunt, too predictable. Today's family offices know that the usual path leads nowhere but quiet extinction. That's why they're becoming ruthless strategists, sharpening their moves, hunting the edges others miss, embracing risk not as a gamble, but as a calculated weapon. They're learning how to see beyond spreadsheets, beyond quarterly reports, peering into futures that seem like science fiction to most. They're tapping into trends before they trend, diving deep into innovation, and pulling leverage from the chaos of disruption. This is no casual shift. It's a full-on transformation driven by desperation and vision intertwined. Because the world won't give a damn about your family's legacy unless you fiercely defend it with sharp, smart moves. But here's the secret that most don't want you to hear. It's not just about chasing shiny new startups or hype industries. The top family offices are reinventing what it means to invest strategically. They're building ecosystems, not just portfolios. They're weaving networks of thinkers, builders, and visionaries, partnering with people who don't just work for money, but who burn with a shared hunger to create something unprecedented. This is about connection, about finding those rare souls who don't settle for what's easy or obvious. It's about mixing discipline with audacity. They know success lives in uncharted territory, where everyone else fears to tread. And here's what's crushing. If your family office isn't stepping into this hyper-strategic mindset, you might already be falling behind without even realizing it. Because the gap between strategic inertia and strategic dominance isn't months, it's weeks, maybe even days. The old playbook is dead, buried beneath a flood of new rules no one handed you. But the bright side? Those who see this early, who choose to uproot their thinking, become unstoppable. They don't just grow wealth, they shape markets. They don't follow trends, they set them. They don't wait for permission, they command their space. And realize this, what you're dealing with is more than money. Investing at this level is the front line of freedom. Freedom from subpar legacies, from complacency, from a slow fade into irrelevancy. It's the battlefield where survival and purpose collide. It demands new types of courage and discipline every single day. It demands rejection of comfort and consensus like the plague, because comfort is the enemy and consensus is the trap. The hyper-strategic family office refuses both. They take the lonely road where the rarest decisions are made, where the fiercest ideas burn brightest. Here's the real power. Hyper-strategic investing unlocks the chance to align family wealth with a future worth fighting for. Not just a future filled with numbers, but one that ignites passions, fuels innovation, and builds something lasting. Not for the sake of tradition alone, but for transformation. This is about seeing your capital as a force of profound change, a weapon against stagnation and dilution of legacy. When family offices begin playing this game right, they become more than investors. They become architects of possibility, builders of new realities, anchors of progress that no shifting economy can erode. But how do you make this jump? How do you go beyond the old patterns of slow growth, safe bets, and reactive moves into this hyper-strategic space that feels so elusive? The first step is brutal honesty. Admit that what worked before won't work now. The world isn't stable or predictable anymore. Static diversification is a myth. Passive holdings are a liability. In this fast-evolving chaos, waiting on committees or consensus is a death sentence. Hyper-strategic investing demands speed, blended with ruthless clarity, a mindset that waits for nothing but moves with relentless intent. Next, it's about radical selectivity. Forget the old rule of invest broadly. Now the game is to invest deeply, intentionally, aligning not just with business models, but with people and ideas that scream transformation. Those rare sparks that won't settle for improvement, but burn for reinvention. If your investments don't challenge your assumptions, stretch your vision, and force the team to grow, they're not strategic. They're just noise. Focus, then, is the secret weapon. Less is more, but sharper and hungrier. Then, the family office must become an ecosystem builder. This means moving past solo investing into collaboration at a new level. Building strategic partnerships with founders, co-investors, experts who don't just add capital, but add exponential value through their vision, contacts, know-how. The world's biggest opportunities no longer live in closed rooms or single sectors. They emerge at the intersections, where technology meets culture, where sustainability sparks innovation, where bold ideas explode into markets no one could predict. Hyper-strategic family offices find those intersections and stake their claims early, because they understand that agility and connection beats size every time. And here's another revelation. Hyper-strategy harnesses information differently. It's not about more data, but about better filters, sharper instincts, and the ability to question relentlessly. The family offices at the cutting edge don't just accept data points. They interrogate assumptions, challenge norms, and look for contradictions that open new windows into opportunity. They are relentless critics of conventional wisdom, because you cannot break old patterns with old insights. New realities demand fresh eyes and fearless minds. What fuels that fearless mind? Culture. The family office has to create an internal culture of sovereignty, where every decision is the result of independent thinking and personal accountability. Hierarchy kills speed. Bureaucracy breeds passivity. Hyperstrategy thrives on autonomy and the fierce belief that each member is not here to follow orders, but to lead innovation. That means empowering teams to make bold moves, to fail fast, and to double down on what works, all while keeping clear sight of the long-term horizon. If this sounds intense, it is. And it should be. Because becoming a hyper-strategic investor isn't a gentle transition. It's a revolution in how family offices see themselves, their role, and their power. It asks you to burn the rulebook, to stop being prisoners of inherited systems, to pick the fight for freedom using capital as your weapon. It requires patience, not just for fast wins, but for playing the long game with persistent faith. The reward? A legacy reborn, not stuck in yesterday's dream, but alive and screaming with relevance today and tomorrow. And here's the most profound truth of all. This shift isn't just happening in isolation. The few family offices who dare to make these moves are becoming nodes of a new kind of power, linked not by geography or wealth alone, but by a shared hunger to change the future. They are creating an unstoppable network of radical thinkers, doers, and rebels, rewriting what legacy means for their families and the world. Your family office can't afford to watch this wave wash over without jumping in, because there are no sidelines anymore in this game. You're either shaping the future or being shaped by it. So decide now. Will you cling to fading safety? Or will you step into hyperstrategy and claim the power that comes with being an unstoppable force capable of not just preserving wealth, but transforming entire systems? The choice is yours, but don't linger. The clock is already ticking, faster than most can keep up. The future, unpredictable and relentless, waits for no one who hesitates. This is the moment where family offices become legends, not just managers, where money isn't just held but unleashed, where strategy isn't just used but embodied. The harsh truth is that if your family office doesn't become hyper strategic, focused, fearless, and fiercely networked, it will become irrelevant. But if it does, it will rewrite the story of legacy and power for generations to come. There's no comfort in this truth, only fierce opportunity. And if you feel that spark inside, that quiet, burning tension, telling you there's more, much more to achieve, you're already on the path. Don't stop now. Turn that tension into action, that frustration into strategy, and that legacy into unstoppable force. The world is waiting for family offices who refuse to settle. Be one of them.